I want to welcome you all to GPF 2010. We're a learning community of donors and social investors. We're all committed to international causes. We're strategic, and we seek results.
Very often, this question of equitable access to the distribution of wealth is not on the table. And the actors that would be the promoters of these issues, civil society actors, women's groups, are notoriously absent from peace negotiations. So you see peace deals that deal with freedom from fear or an entire kind of political structure, constitutional reform, security sector reform, and very little attention paid to alleviating freedom from want. I think this has been proven somewhat difficult. And at the same time, and don't get me wrong, I think that many in the developing world are advancing this argument, not always in good faith, but claim to champion economic and social rights, and they believe that civil and political rights are in fact a luxury that will come only after the basic rights have been guaranteed. In my view, both extremes are misguided. All rights, I think, should come in a package of universal, indivisible entitlements. Now, the fact that they can only be incrementally implemented doesn't change their fundamental nature as entitlements. Not simply the object of, you don't have to deserve it. You don't have to deserve to be educated. You don't have to deserve to be fed. The part that is problematic in the views of some is this question of what is the responsibility of the international community to intervene when there's a default, either lack of will or lack of capacity by a government.
But when it comes to operationalizing that, when it comes to, even if we have the political will to intervene, do we have the mechanisms at hand to do so? That is to say, are there collective security regimes, such as the African Union, that really have the core capacity to step up to cope with a situation like that? And whose responsibility is it to strengthen that capacity if it doesn't exist now?
Well, I think even though we tend to jump immediately, the minute we talk about a state that is unwilling or unable to protect its own population, we tend to jump immediately to the Security Council ordering military intervention. Now, of course, there's a whole range of probably much more realistic forms of intervention that are much more helpful. I think I could give you two examples. First, I believe that regional actors are the most relevant ones. That is, states pay attention to their immediate neighbors before they feel engaged vis-a-vis the United Nations or the broader international community. One good example was Cyclone Nargis in Burma, Myanmar, where I think without the very effective effort by ASEAN to engage, it might have been almost impossible for international assistance to be deployed. And I don't think there's anybody else that could have had this capacity to engage with a government that was extremely suspicious of international intentions, as you know, and very resistant to opening up to any form of assistance. So the immediate success, I think, was triggered by ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that were an appropriate interlocutor for this government. I think we have now civil society actors who are sufficiently knowledgeable, sophisticated, engaged, and have the backbone of enough philanthropic money to step up in these conversations and say, hasn't served us all that well to completely retreat from these issues that are political, institutional, but they are absolutely critical.
Are you expecting more resource wars in the future as we deal with scarcity of land, scarcity of water, or are you seeing examples where managing this competition is resulting? Examples right now where managing the competition is resulting in cooperation instead?
Frankly, I think we're at a point where in many regions it could go either way. With the right actors and the right impetus, this could become an opportunity for creation